and I'm an alcoholic. And I'm really grateful to be here today, have an opportunity to meditate for 20 minutes in a group. This week I worked a lot, and it was very challenging to get up early enough to meditate, so I didn't do it a couple of days this week, and I feel the difference. And then I also got really tired because I worked like a 16-hour day on Thursday. And when I found, on Friday, I had like a spiritual tired hangover. And it was very challenging for me to feel connected so I understand that because I've had kind of an easy life for the last couple of years and I haven't really had too many long days. So it's interesting to have one and go, oh, wow, now I understand. I have alcoholism. It's a disease that centers in my mind. It never goes away. What I find for my life is that I've been shown a way of life where I don't have to access the alcoholism. Alcoholics Anonymous is a way of life, 12 steps, and a power that comes out of the application of those 12 steps where I can be a new character. I can have a new way of life. I don't have to rely on the old ideas. And it actually says that, right? It says that I actually have to let go of my old ideas, absolutely, or the result is nil. I mean, it says that. But I come here and I think, oh, no, I just have a drinking problem. And that if I just stop drinking for long enough, something's going to happen to me, magical. Something magical is going to happen. And I'm going to be this great guy that I always thought I was inside because I haven't drank for an amount of time. And I really believe that. And you go to meetings and, you see some people that have some time and they seem to have a better life. On the outside, they look pretty good. But that wasn't my experience. My experience was as time passed, without drinking and going to meetings and reading and working steps, my life got worse. And I didn't even know what my life was. I thought my life was my outsides, my living. And my living was mediocre. It was great. It was mediocre by my standards, but everything is, right? But I had a nice apartment. I lived in LA where I wanted to live. I had a car, I had a job, I had a girlfriend, I had all this stuff. It just wasn't enough. And it wasn't the right kind, and it wasn't in the right neighborhood. And so my mind told me that it was mediocre, that it kind of sucked, and that I needed better, and that I was never going to have enough and be happy, and my life sucked. And it told me that. So my living was okay, but my life, what goes on inside of me, was terrible. Because I say so, or because the disease says so. There's something wrong with my mind. And I don't know when it happened, and it doesn't matter when it happened. But I also, because I had something wrong with my mind, alcohol was fantastic for me. And it did for me what I could not do for myself. I couldn't be happy. I couldn't feel handsome. I couldn't feel smart. I couldn't feel funny. I couldn't feel like I fit in anywhere I went. But when I drank alcohol, man, that was over. All the conversation was over. I was just in the moment, having the time of my life for years. And then at some point, alcohol became a poison for me because I used it so much. I used the medicine so much to treat my disease that eventually it turned on me. And I can't take the medicine anymore, but I still have the disease. And that's why I'm here. I'm not here to not drink. I'm here because I can't drink anymore because I've become allergic to the medicine, but I still have the disease and I need a treatment. I need something. I need something. Something is the most commonly used name for God. I just need something. And here's where I found something. I found something that could help me in AA. With a lot of help, a lot of human help, a lot of men spent a lot of time with me, and women spent a lot of time with me, talking to me and helping me to become aware of the character that I was, which is not easy, by the way. It's terrible. Every natural instinct in me cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. So when you tell me I'm personally powerless to do anything about the disease, whether I'm drinking or not, I'm like, you need to get out of my life. So there's a program, right? So that's the disease side. And we always talk a little bit about the disease, or I always talk a little bit about the disease at the beginning of this meeting, because I got to know what I'm up against. I got to know that I have the disease. I have to remember. There are some programs out there that tell you don't mention the disease, don't identify with the disease, because that's then who you are. But who I am is the disease. It's the character that I built. The unsatisfiable, fault-finding, opinionated mind is the disease, and it's also Randy. And I have to abandon self completely so that I can be with the new character, who's also Randy, but a different version of Randy, a version I never knew. A quiet, peaceful, having the right answer when I need it all the time. God, that's what's being offered in AA. It says it in the promises. I'm going to intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle me. Well, everything baffles me. Everything. And now the new character intuitively knows how to handle everything. And that intuition is something, Scott. So the whole program is about having a spiritual awakening so that I can awaken the spirit that's going to intuitively guide me. That's already inside of me, by the way. And what I'm saying right now doesn't matter. Every AA meeting is an assurance that God will restore me to sanity if I rightly relate myself to Him. The only time I could rightly relate myself to God is right now. This is the only moment I could do it. It doesn't matter what you know up until this moment. It doesn't matter if you know the Bible inside and out. It doesn't matter. It's what am I doing right now? Am I rightly relating myself to God or not? That's the only question I ever have to ask myself. Am I rightly relating myself to God? Because if I am, then I'm going to intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle me, or everything. And if I'm not, I'm going to be baffled. It sounds so silly when you say it out loud like that. It's so simple. Wait a minute. All I have to do is rightly relate myself to God if I want to be restored to sanity? And yes, that's true. Now, I can't rightly relate myself to God because I'm constitutionally incapable of being honest with myself. So there's going to be some stuff I'm going to have to do along the way, like step 4 and step 2 and step 4 and step 5 and step 6. I'm going to have to do those things so that I could learn how to rightly relate myself, who I really am to God, and what's really going on right now. And if I could rightly relate myself, then I could be restored to sanity. Rightly relating is really, it's just saying, for me, right here, right now, could you be with me? Could you help me to be with you? Could you help me to be right here in this room right now? This is the only moment that matters. If I can get this one right, if I could get right with my higher power right now, then there's a possibility that right now I might be still relating to that power in this moment. That's all that's required for the whole deal, is to slow down enough to get to right here, right now, so that I can have this relationship, so that I could be restored to sanity right now and have it a moment of peace. And when I have that moment of peace, I can remember, oh yeah, right, I get to make a decision. I can turn my will and my life back over to Mr. Baffled, or I could go with Mr. Sane. I get to make a decision. Am I going to turn my will and my life over to the care of God and have the promises of this moment right now or not? But it's a real decision because I did something, because I have had experience in too of being restored to sanity. And it's not make-believe and it's not magic, and God doesn't do anything for me. God doesn't get me cars and he doesn't get me girlfriends and he doesn't get me houses, but he restores me to sanity. And when I'm sane, those things come into my life. I can see them when they show up. I can appreciate what's in my life. And as I appreciate what's in my life right now, more is added. It's the craziest thing. The more I fight against my life the way it is, the more I argue, the more I find fault with my life, the more I stay stuck with the more I stay stuck with exactly what I have. And the minute I stop fighting and I stop arguing and I stop finding fault and I start loving the life that I have right now, the minute I start doing that, new opportunities show up. New things come into my life and my whole life changes. That is completely backwards to everything I was ever taught. If you want something, you got to go out and you got to fight for it. You got to work hard. You got to put your nose to the grindstone. Man, I don't like it there. This other way it's unbelievable. So right now, could you help me? Could I be with you? Could you help me to relax into this moment and just be here right now? Could you help me hear what's being said? Not because of what I'm saying or what anyone else is going to say, but because this is the thing to do right now, is to be connected to right now so that I can hear what's being said, because that's what's happening right now. I need to be here in this room in order to be restored to sanity. I need to be here. If I bring my body here and my mind is still out there running around, figuring out how much money I need, or finding the right girl, or finding the right car, or the right job, or changing anything in my life that I think needs to be changed, I can do that sitting right here in this meeting, in my mind, and waste the whole meeting and just be just as sick as I was when I walked in, as sick as I was when I walked out. Or I could have a new experience right now. I could have one moment. If you could have one moment of right here, right now, right here, right now, it could change your whole life right now. So that's what this meeting's about. We're going to read some stuff out of that 12 and 12. We're in step 7. So, right? We still in step 7?
Yes.
We're in step 7. So we have some 12 and 12s. If you didn't bring one, you could borrow one. And we're going to read a paragraph, and we're going to talk about the principles that are in that paragraph. So if you have experience with what was read for your life, share your experience. And if you have questions, ask questions. Okay. Where are we?
So we are reading the last paragraph of step 7 on page 76, 12 and 12.
Nice. The very last paragraph?
Yes.
All right, we read it in the I. Who would like to read it?
Hi,
Alicia.
The 7th step is where I make the change in my attitude which permits me, with humility as my guide, to move out from myself toward others and toward God. The whole emphasis of step 7 is on humility. It is really saying to me that I now ought to be willing to try humility in seeking the removal of my other shortcomings, just as I did when I admitted that I was powerless over alcohol, and came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. If that degree of humility